Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest N4Viz webinar entitled McKesson Case Study, How N4V for WebI became mission critical for tracking parcel deliveries at McKesson. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Warren Kobbeltvedt. I'm the account executive at N4Viz. And on the camera with me is Alan Anolik. He's our senior BI expert, Power Business Objects Guru Extraordinaire with McKesson. Say hi, Alan.
Hey, everyone.
Today, we're really excited to show you a number of things, and Alan has gratefully given us his time to show you just exactly how the N4V product has become mission critical within McKesson. Just a few items just to talk about the agenda first off. So we also have, continuing with introductions, we also have Jean-Bernard and Jerome from our Paris office on the line as well. They're going to be in the background, but we've kind of introduced ourselves. Let's do some housekeeping items. Wanted to let you know that we're going to take about 45 minutes of your time this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. You are currently on mute. That is just so that not everybody's talking over everybody else. We would like to take your questions. We would like to do that via the chat. We've turned the chat on. Jean-Bernard and Jerome will be monitoring the chat for your questions. We'll be taking those questions at the end, and we're going to be putting them into the presentation so that when we monitor when we send out the recording, you'll have a list of the questions as well. When we do send this out later today, for those of you who have registered and have attended, you'll receive a link to go to the recording so that you can replay it at your convenience. So some of you may not know about the N4V product offering, so I just wanted to take a couple of seconds before Alan starts talking about the products and so on, so that you understand exactly what he's talking about. So N4Viz for WebI, we really consider us to be the ultimate web intelligence upgrade. Let's talk about the N4V widgets just for a second. That's our first of 4 components. So they integrate new data visualization components and navigation features that enable advanced dashboarding in WebI. These are our widgets. The N4V maps allow the integration of offline and online maps and custom plans directly into WebI, as well as the N4V analysis and advanced pivot table for in-depth data exploration, as well as the publisher, the last one, designed for distributing information outside of WebI. Another way to look at this is think of N4V widgets as being able to transform the WebI into a true data visualization powerhouse without leaving the business objects environment. So adding those widgets to it to give you that visualization. The maps, a fully integrated geographical information system, GIS, inside of WebI without needing external tools. As well as the N4V analysis, this is the pivot table, provides smooth, fast data exploration in WebI without requiring complex queries. And our publisher, which exports WebI reports in HTML5, making them accessible, interactive, and responsive. And Alan's going to show that in one of his demos for all users outside of WebI. So Alan's going to talk today about why they chose N4Viz, what they're doing with it, what the problem was that they were trying to solve, the solution to that problem, and then what are the next steps. And so, Alan, I'll move the slides here as you talk through it, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, Warren. Hey, everyone. Appreciate you joining us on this journey as we show you how N4Viz has transformed our BI and analytics department, how we're using it, and how we even got here. So before we start, I just want to give you guys just a quick overview on who I am and who McKesson is. So as Warren pointed out, I'm Alan Anolik. I like to fashion myself as a BI expert. Not sure if that's actually true, but I'll take it. And I'm a data architect at McKesson, with my focus being on data visualization. So McKesson, we're a huge company. We have about $310 billion a year in revenue, and we are the 9th largest company in America at the time of this meeting. And so McKesson, if you do not know, it's a healthcare solutions company and a healthcare technology company. We are huge in the industries of pharmaceutical distribution, like I said, healthcare techs or your EHRs and things like that. Your technology that's at your doctor's offices are often powered by McKesson. Medical supplies, so your doctor's gloves, the little footies you get when you have a baby, those are oftentimes supplied by McKesson. So McKesson has a huge footprint, and we have over 50,000 employees globally. So it's a huge company. And what my team does is we're the ERP operational reporting and insights group. So we deliver real-time and historical data, and we're responsible for empowering McKesson's operational excellence. We support multiple business units throughout the enterprise, providing them data feeds, providing them scorecards, dashboards, operational reports, automated distributions, and things of that nature. You can rock to the next slide. Okay, so how did we end up getting in bed, so to speak, with Need for Viz? Well, it all started during that time that hopefully a lot of us have tried to forget. But when you're in the healthcare industry, you just can't do that. I'm talking, of course, about the worldwide COVID crisis. So for those of you that do not know, McKesson entered into a private-public partnership with the United States government to be the distributors of the vaccine nationwide. And remember, this was a time when we were trying to get it out very quickly for those who are vulnerable, and then trying to get it out very quickly for the entire nation, and then obviously getting it out very quickly to provide booster shots. So this provided us with a great opportunity, but also gave us a lot of problems, right? We had large, complex data sets. We needed both insights, summarizations, interactivity, as well as row-level data. And this needed to be done through a trustable platform that's all obviously very scalable. The initial technology solution that was chosen for this was Tableau, but it fell very short in meeting the real-time and scalability needs. It was very slow. It couldn't get directly to the real-time data. It had issues integrating directly with our ERP. And obviously, as we all know, Tableau is not a very good reporting tool. So we ended up with the possible issue of having very important data sitting in all kinds of different places just so we could get visualizations out. Because WebI on its own lacked, those advanced capabilities to create really, really rich and drillable visualizations, we partnered with Need for Viz to get this solution implemented as quickly as possible. And because it integrates directly with business objects and it's very, very low resource, it's very easy to slap on there. So we are able to get this product onto our production business objects very, very shortly. And within a couple weeks' time, we had ourselves what eventually became an award-winning dashboard, and that dashboard led to a series of other dashboards, and blink of an eye, all of a sudden, Need for Viz is embedded everywhere within our department. So this led to a what now is it's going to be a 5-year partnership, but 4 years as of now. And let's talk about how this has changed the landscape for my team and for our users. It's become integral to our data strategy, right? So as I mentioned before, we no longer have to silo out data and have reporting here, formatted reporting there, dashboards here, analytics there. We can sort of centralize where we can our data and output our data. And as far as business objects it went from a tool that was, I wouldn't say dying off, because it's so embedded and so mission critical and has so many operational reporting capabilities and formatting capabilities that the other tools do not have. But it was definitely being sidelined as far as, hey, look at what we got, or let's get third-party clients to sign up and want to use our visualization tools. Business objects wasn't even in that conversation. now it's a key piece of it. Obviously, it's mission critical because business objects is mission critical. So embedding need for viz in with business objects has made it mission critical. And instead of just sending data feeds or analyzing data feeds, again, we can empower our decision makers with these really beautiful scorecards, dashboards, and reports that are enriched with analytical graphics that we're pulling from need for viz. And obviously the seamless integration, right? What we want to do is we want to embed directly these need for viz dashboards and scorecards and reports into enterprise portals that third-party users can access, right? And so it's kind of, we're using need for viz to take our analytics and dashboarding and reporting to the next level, not only for us inside of McKesson, but also for our clients and our users. You can go ahead, next slide. Yep. So what's next at McKesson? So we're actually continuing to expand our investments in WebI and business objects. We are upgrading currently now to SP4, which not only offers us better performance on the front end and a little bit of a nicer Fiori style, but also offers us the data mode, which is amazing with its data integration capabilities, right? And so instead of the concept of, well, let's see what we can move off of WebI and push to Power BI or things like that, we're not doing that at all. We're actually expanding our WebI footprint and putting more and more things into WebI and actually pulling things off of Tableau and into our WebI plus need for viz solution. So obviously we're enhancing this, right? We're developing new dashboards. And what we want to do is we want to continue to deliver these things, right? But with advanced filtering, the drill downs, all the beautiful interactive visuals, and embed those into portals, like I said, that can be accessed outside of just our individual users, right? And where we really also want to go with this, and we'll show you this in the demo, is when you have need for viz, you have the ability to take your report outside of your business objects implementation, and the reports then become responsive in nature. It's a really beautiful concept, and we'll show you how that works. And obviously feel free to ask questions. And as I'm showing this, I'm sure Jerome and Warren here will offer a lot of color into what that solution looks like for you. All right, with that being said, let me go ahead and take over the screen and let's start looking at some of the cool stuff that we've built. So, can everybody see my screen here?
Yes.
Cool, awesome. Okay, so this was kind of the dashboard that started it all. And this was made about, going on 4 years now, because it was made, and we had to get this out very, very, very quickly in 2021. So what this was a summary of all the data that showed where we were sending our COVID vaccines, right? And as you can see, this is littered with need for viz elements. And what we initially started doing, and we still do this, but we're actually going to get more towards using need for viz exclusively where we can, but this combined the best elements of WebI on its own with need for viz, and we got a very, very beautiful product here. And as you can see, instead of having input controls at the top, we actually can have drop downs and buttons all throughout our dashboard, right? And also we can do away with WebI maps, which I never liked, despite whatever improvements that they have put in there, and have these beautiful need for viz maps. And you can see this really awesome tooltip. And what's even cooler is you can see some instructions in there, right? So click to drill into awardee data. So I can click right there into Missouri, and I can get a little pie of where their vaccines are going. Same with Florida. See if California's even a little bit more interesting. At the time, it seems like they were just going to a few places, but that's pretty cool, right? And if we want to, we can use a need for viz button to actually decide what kind of measure we're putting into our funnel, into our map, and into our pie chart here, and really down everywhere, right? And this is a need for viz button. What I love about it is the fact that you know when you're clicked on this, because I can tell that button in my Webby to, hey, make that bigger when it's clicked, and also make it orange, and then make the font orange, or make the font white here. You can sort of do that over in Web Intelligence, but I would need a whole 45 minutes just to show you all how to do that, and I'd actually have to call in my partner in crime, Ken Wong, to help explain that, right? But you don't have to do that with Need for Viz. We have a button function right there for you, and you can edit it, put your colors in, put a border around it, make it bigger, make it animate, whatever you want. And of course, we have this awesome timeline. We use this in so many different places. It's not even funny how often we use this. It's so controllable, so interactive, so quick. As you can see, I got a series of buttons that I can easily move the data around. I can actually hop into a calendar if I want to go to specific dates. It's very cool. And just to pump some of our Webby work, we made a custom legend here, and when you hover over it, it actually gives you some more information. That's sort of a staple of our BI department over in McKesson, sort of layering things we can layer into dashboards. But here's another beautiful need for viz thing, is the ability to drill in and instantly get to more data. And then you can just back, right? And then I have a drop down here where I can layer my charts. So instead of looking at the previous 7 days, I took a drop down, and now I'm looking at program to date. And I can drill into this as well, right? But we're drilling and we're doing things from a totally different direction. So these are some of the beautiful things that you can do with Need for Viz. And when we discovered that, we basically went crazy. So I'm going to take you into program to date very quickly, right? Let's actually click on our geo map. Why we always started with that bubble chart, but that bubble chart's another Need for Viz chart. So I can actually, instead of, because you've already seen the map, I'll show you I just don't like the way we did the bubbles specifically in this, but the bubbles are great, right? We can get to data very quickly, and I can zoom in on bubbles, right? And that's where some of these type of exotic charts to me can be tough, because you end up slamming so much information into a viz, you don't really know what you're looking at. But with Need for Viz, I can actually zoom in. And if I wanted to, I didn't in this dashboard, but these can actually be element links, right? So you're not doing anything too crazy with Need for Viz, right? It's just a Webby component, right? But it's a webbing component on steroids, right? So none of this was any custom coding or just like this. When you get the Need for Viz product, you essentially get more Webby components. That's all it is. And so here we have this really cool sort of table with a time series chart inside of it that's scrollable. So again, instead of having to go to another tab and put this on a page or paginate it, I can have it in a nice summary, and it's scrollable, right? And we have scrollable tables and things of that nature all over the place. And you can also create your own sort of custom KPI gauges. So for McKesson here, for these vaccines, we actually created we went and found an image of a vial, and we're able to essentially fill it up with how many orders have been shipped that day and the next day, right? And then we can use conditional formatting inside of the gauge to let us know if we're on goal or off goal, right? So again, these very, very quintessential things that Webby does that we're very, very used to. There's a ton more on this dashboard, but For time purposes, I'm going to actually move on to the next dashboard that we developed for this.
Alan, just a quick question while you're doing that. How many people are there in your department creating these dashboards, and how many dashboards do you have that you've incorporated N4V into to date?
Wow, that's a great question. So I'd say we probably have around a dozen developers, and we're increasing that and scaling up. And we probably have, aside from what I'm going to show you, probably close to 20 or more dashboards, multiple scorecards. And to be honest, Warren, that question is kind of tough because Need for Viz is just so embedded into things that we do that folks will often use it and not even really know that they're using Need for Viz.
Right. Okay.
Because it's so easy to use, right? You're not doing anything crazy. This isn't Excelsius or anything goofy like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoop. Actually, I didn't want to show you this one yet. Apologies. I wanted to show you the next one. Apologies. We'll get there. I know that one's very, very cool, but we will get there, I promise you. Okay. All right, so let's check out this bad boy. I really like this one for several reasons. One, we were able to pack a lot of information into a single page dashboard. Two, I really like the design that Ken and I came up with for this one. So these are your sort of KPIs, right? Your key indicators up here for everything, right? And these are remaining allocations for all our different plants, and a table that gives you essentially the row level detail. And again, we're on Need for Viz, so our table is now scrollable. Our table can be sorted. Our table can be filtered. Right? That to me is an incredible thing. And it's so quick. It's hard to even tell what I'm doing sometimes, right? If you notice, I put in everything over 2 million. So everything from about here on down was gone, right? In about an instant. And of course, we have this crazy exploding pie chart, which, might not make sense until we can go a little full screen here. And if I want to say, I want to see what's going on in these slivers, I can go directly to a sliver, right? And now I can see that information that was just too small and inappropriate to actually put on this visual, right? Or I can start all the way from here, right? And then, let me see pharmacy, right? And then let's just go back and let's click our full screen and we're back to our dashboard, no problem. So this is what I love about this dashboard, right? Is let's go ahead and see what happens when I add a filter on forest. We're still in the same dashboard. But what we've done here, and again, this is something that can only do with Need for Viz, is I've popped into a specific forest dashboard, right? We call this a pop-up dashboard, but it's really just drill through, right? I'm drilling through the forest section, vertical, and I'm getting that now as a forest specific KPIs up here, right? And now that trending chart that was hard to read, I have a beautiful Need for Viz chart, right? It's so much easier to read. Now this table here is only specific to forest. Now if I want, I can come in here. I can filter for Moderna over only if I really want to. Oh, I just spelled it, right? And it's going to tell us that we have a nice filter on there. And as you see, our allocations make a little bit more sense because we're now only in forest, which is what we drilled to. And within this pie, I can sort of analyze it a little bit better, or I can come back out here to full screen. And of course, I have my drop downs like I tend to do on all of my dashboards. So I'm going to go ahead and escape out of this one because that's really the big cheese with this guy. And then you just select the X. And once you do that, you're back to your dashboard. Now that's cool. How many of you are doing that in Webby right now? I would venture to say none of you, unless you have need for viz. So let's check out a couple cool ones and let's do a time check. 9:27, cool. We got some time. I want to hop into, before I get to another dashboard, I do want to hop into a couple less exotic things that are still very, very cool. So this is actually going with one of my concepts that I started with Need for Viz with a different client, but the idea of having dashboards that are up 24/7 that can just exist and filter and be live and let you sort of monitor your actions in real time or be able to be interactive at the same time. So we have a cool little heat map. We combine data from all different places to be able to give a DC the ability to see their units that are in question live, right, and on a map or on a heat map here. And then this is a little KPI and scorecard for all the suppliers, not just the suppliers that don't have a successful data status. But what's really cool about this is once you click on one of those KPIs in that scrollable table is going to go away. And now you're going to just get the supplier that you clicked on. You're going to get their schedule so we know when their shipments are coming in. We have the ability to know if they have their required EPSIS data on there, yay or nay, and we're actually able to attach that to the PO number, right? And then give them a little scorecard. And then they can press X and come out. So you can imagine if this is on a big screen that's touch at your service center, you can touch into one of these guys, see your data, click the X to touch out, or you can just let it roll in a beautiful little chart that you just wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And then one more non-really dashboardy thing is I want to just show how you can quickly transform a paginated report. So initially when this was brought to me, this was basically just a spreadsheet, right? And a nice looking spreadsheet, right? A good one, a good report, right? But we wanted to sort of summarize all this good stuff at the top. And we didn't really have a good way to make that look great with the Webby KPIs. They try to do too much for you and they end up kind of looking wonky. So we decided to use Need for Viz. And so we were able to put these really, really nice KPI cards on the top of a report. And of course, because this is Webby, we can distribute this via PDF, Excel, what have you, live, and it just looks beautiful. All right, now let me get quickly to what I feel like is the crown jewel of what we've created here at McKesson, and we actually use this sort of as a template to create other dashboards. This is like our style, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and open this bad boy in full screen. And so it is similar in style to what you saw with the COVID dashboard, but it's got, in my mind, some more cool things, right? So we have our Webby stuff up here, which is beautiful. We've pulled in a weather widget that's attached to your location. So I'll go down to Olive Branch, drop down here, right? And all my data changed, right? Because this is an input control, right, that we've pulled into the report. And you can see my little weather widget has changed from Memphis to Olive Branch. And I got another Need for Viz drop down in here. If I want to change the forecast from 3 days to 7 days, bam, I have a beautiful little drop down that can do that for me. And then of course we have our trucks, and we use this as a gauge. So the more volume you're sending out, the more color you're going to have on your truck. And this is a live dashboard. I'm actually showing you guys real things. This was refreshed not that long ago, so it's early still. as you get to the afternoon, these numbers increase, right? So you can see if I go to all, now you can see the numbers have increased a little bit. And if we go over here, we have again our order type. We can change all, or we can select these two options. And we have this, again, this beautiful map. Let's go into full screen and check it out. Click on Texas here. And pick on Missouri. Go PA. Go Florida. So I can go ahead here and I can just drill in on a map to my heart's content. If I really wanted 50 up here, I could do that. That would just be crazy. But again, you can do that. You can resize these. All right. So if I wanted more, I can make them smaller. And as you see, they're responsive. So that's really nice. I can close one at a time, or I can go ahead and close all. Right. And I can also drill into my states, right, and get my information by the county. I can do that with ease, right? Very, very quick. So click on Texas here. Very cool. I think we get the picture. So then I can come back here and I can switch back to my full screen view. I have a really awesome Need for Viz table here that's scrollable. And we've put a visual inside, which is very, very easy. It's just a checkbox that I can put on my table. And now I have a nice progress bar inside a table. And I can actually use this as an element link. So I just went ahead and I clicked on this part of the table that had 3 open orders. And now I can go here and I can see the granular detail of the 3 orders that are open. And if I want to go back to my chart, I just simply click X and I am back to where I was. And of course, the chart is interactive with the rest of the report. So if I want to click this is a WebI element link, I can actually interact with all my Need for Viz elements with WebI, and my Need for Viz elements can do the same. So
let me just, sorry, after you drop down. So we've got about 10 minutes left. I don't see any questions coming through, but Alan, I know you have a couple more dashboards that you want to show, but we've got about 10 more minutes. And just a reminder, if you do have questions to the participants, please put them in the chat. We'd like to field your questions if you have any questions about what Alan is showing you. So thanks, Alan.
Awesome. No, I appreciate that. Okay, cool. Well, let me show you one more thing that I believe is very, very cool. So this was, more drilling, more interactive, more buttons to get you more information, right? Because again, with Need for Viz and WebI, we can just layer the heck out of all of our dashboards here, right? So let's go ahead and, because we've seen all this, let's show you where we want to go next with the tool and an example of that. So let me bring it up if you guys give me a minute. Sorry. Thought I had it up. Apparently I didn't.
It's okay. This is how people know it's a live demo, Alan.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I gotta log back in. I got kicked out. I apologize. Okay. Okay, so I'm opening up a WebI report that we are calling an ecosystem executive summary. And it's a very, very cool WebI report on its face, right? It's got beautiful visuals. It's got interactivity. Right, so we can drill down, all that good stuff. But what if I told you that you don't have to be in Business Objects to view this report. And not only that, this design can be responsive. And let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to click this link. Okay. I am now outside of Business Objects, right? So if you think about it, I don't have to have a license for this. I'm just a guy that's on a website. Okay. Now I want to show you what I mean by responsive design, right? So this is the same Webby report, right? Now, if I go like this, I have a very mobile friendly Webby report. If I go like this, I have a very laptop friendly Webby report, right? And then I can jump into how it was originally designed. And not only that, I know what some of you thinking, oh, well, it's a trick. I can do that. No, not a trick, right? This is a complete Webby report. Its data is real. I can interact with it. And not only that, I hope you noticed how much quicker it is than Webby, right? So let's time this. All practices, drill into USON. It took less than a second. Let's drill out, less than a second. Let's see who my biggest client is. That's Texas. Let's go down to Texas. We can find them. Boom. Bam. All right, let's do some of that in Webby. I'm going to take the Webby report off of Chrome here, right? I'm going to make it big. Looks good. It's a Webby report, right? But let's try to do some of the stuff we just did. This is how it would look on your phone, right? This is how it would look on your tablet. Again, it's not terrible, right? Especially those of us that dealt with SAP Mobile BI. But it's nothing compared to what we can do with Need for Viz. And not only that, let's again see how long it takes to drill. 1, 2, not bad, right? And then let me go find it. Right? Let's go into Texas.
So just to put this into context while Alan's doing that, this is our N4V publisher. This is the HTML5 export that Alan is showing.
Yep. And again, USON, boom, quick. All practices, boom, quick. Let's drill into monthly, boom, quick. Drill right into it, drill right into it. Let's go back, drill, drill. Full screen. Quit full screen. Back. Go back to daily. And again, take it to a mobile iPhone type view. And you're not losing any speed. And you're not losing any abilities to do what you want to do. This to me is one of the most exciting things about the product. And I really, really cannot wait to really focus and dive into this concept, because this is an absolute game changer. Need for Viz in itself is a game changer, but to be able to take this outside of business objects and be able to, one, sort of save yourself on some license costs, but two, create a better experience for your user, and an experience that the user can have their BI and reports on the go anywhere and not have to be hassled by VPN, business objects, this, that, and the other.
So Alan, we do have some questions, and I think I need to switch to questions if you're finished.
Yeah, please.
You're all good with that? Okay, so let me just take and share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Fabulous.
Was all the aggregation done on the back end side or on the front end? A lot of this stuff, the aggregation was done on the front end using Webby, but some of it was, done on the back end using SAP or tools like Snowflake. I think one of the great things about Webby itself is that it really kind of gives us the opportunity to do both. And I oftentimes like to not have my data aggregated in Webby if I can help it, because I can then create custom aggregations, right, for custom interactions.
Here's another question for you, Alan. Do we have any maintenance overhead with N4V? Any limitations which you think you came across while using it?
Maintenance overhead, not really, right? Because it's so non-intrusive. It's very easy to update. The only sort of issues that we've had at McKesson with it taking more than a few hours is that we have a load balancer system, and we have a non-VPN access channel for some of our clients, and then we have an internal VPN access channel for those of us on site at McKesson. But no, not really. And limitations are more sort of geared towards what limitations SAP gives us inside of Web Intelligence, I'd say.
Okay, that's fair. Next question: what kind of data source do you use behind the reports, or maybe what kind of connectors?
We're using a combination of relational databases like Snowflake, while also taking advantage of HANA and BW. And also some of our reports are enriched with Excel sheets where we need to. But we blend a lot of data, which is why Webby's sort of a go-to choice for us, because oftentimes we're having to directly connect to SAP, grab data from Snowflake, grab data from an old Oracle source, and we sort of are able to more easily blend that together in Webby versus other tools.
Great. Alan, one more question. How does it integrate with Webby?
Directly. Warren, if it's okay, if I could have the screen back just for a second, because I want to show everybody, while we have time here, what this actually looks like for you if you are developing a dashboard. Let me just get signed in here real quick.
We've got about 2 minutes, Alan, just to let you know.
I can show you in 2 minutes.
Okay.
That's the beautiful thing, I'm telling you. Everybody just hang tight, okay? Bring up one that's quick. So let me go into design mode real quick for everybody. So I'm just bringing in supplier, date, and a number, right? And so if I wanted to turn this into a need for viz chart, here's custom elements. I go to custom elements, and these are all the insane amounts of need for viz charts I have to play around with, right? So if I wanted to turn it into, let's say, some kind of pie chart, bam, I got a pie chart, right?
That quick and easy.
And then I can go in, and this is where the magic happens. And then I can add things. I always make the internal disk larger, right? There you go. I made a nice pie chart, and then there's an option to put a central number in here. So, I mean, the point is that if you're a Webby developer, or if you use Webby, we're not doing anything that's nuts. And in a way, I sort of like don't help myself for business purposes. If I was trying to get business or get work, to make it seem like I'm doing more than I am, but I'm just not, right? I just built you guys in under 2 minutes, under the gun, a little interactive scorecard here. Took me 2 minutes while I was getting yelled at by Warren to hurry up. So, that just goes to show you, there's nothing insane here. It's just new Webby components, things that, if I'm being honest, I think should have been in Webby years ago, but they just never were. So this is what we got. Webby focuses on being the best reporting tool and formatting tool in the business while having decent visuals, and Need for Viz turns it into the best dashboarding and interactive tool that's on the market, bar none. And if you would like to debate me on that, please email me. I will debate you on that all day. We can do it live if you want to.
Alan, thank you. I don't see
Very
more
welcome.
questions that have come in. Really appreciate your time and showing us how you're using the solution, how easy it is for you and what you like about it. If you do have questions after the presentation today, please do reach out to me. My email address is there, or go to our website at needforviz.com. Love to have any questions that you may have later on. As I indicated before, we're going to be sending out the recording to this. And if you didn't get a copy of the recording or you're looking for one, please let us know. We'd be happy to pass that on to you. So we've gone slightly over time today, but I think that was valuable time spent. Again, thank you, Alan. And on behalf of all of us here at Need for Viz, we want to thank you for coming today. And we hope to see you on future webinars. Thanks very much.